It's the end of an era. Hi, I'm Andrea Tompkins. I'm a US securities partner in our UK corporate team, and I'm here with Barbara Hamilton Bruce, head of client and business operations for Simmons Solutions. We are taking on the TNOC co-chair roles, stepping into the shoes of Anya Brontalier and Emma Sutcliffe, who have done such an amazing job growing and expanding TNOC, the Simmons Gender Network.
We are excited to take on the reins from Anya and Emma and are pleased that they will continue to be involved in TNOC and to continue the incredible work that TNOC has been doing through focusing on our 3 core objectives. Looking after number 1 are generally internal events open to all, promoting development, retention and well-being, connecting men and women at the firm, and also supporting the firm's gender initiatives. We run external events for clients under our +1 objective, and finally, collaborating as one, building relationships with gender networks at client organisations, supporting contacts in establishing their own gender networks.
Agreed, Barbara. I've enjoyed learning more about what TNOC has been doing. Across the firm, there were so many great International Women's Day events this year, and I'm keen to continue to grow the network by focusing on our core objectives, in particular, collaborating with the other TNOC chapters throughout the firm, as well as other DE&I networks.
And, without further ado, here are Anya and Emma sharing some insights and stories from their time as TNOC co-chairs.
The end of an era.
I know.
We are standing down as chairs of TNOC.
I'm really sad.
I have to give you another tissue.
No. I've got over the tears. But it's quite extraordinary. When you think about it, we've chaired it for 7, 8 years.
Something like that, at least, right?
Yeah. And then we've been involved since it was started in 2008.
2008, yeah.
So now 15 years. And we remember what it was like before it was started. So the discussions we had before there was any kind of...
Now you're giving away our age.
Yeah, bloody old.
Yeah.
But it was so different. I mean, it was a completely different place to work, I think.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
you're going to share something.
A memory of something that happened. Well, we've talked about this. We talked about some of the things that happened. Some of them are funnier than others. Some of them were quite serious. Yeah. I always remember being told that I couldn't wear a trouser suit, particularly if I was going to court.
Of course, because you're a litigator, yeah.
So you had to wear a skirt suit, and obviously for court it had to be certain colours. And this is
in the 21st century.
Yeah, I mean, this is not, pre-2000, but it was just quite extraordinary when you think about it. You had to wear heels, you had to wear a sober suit, and it had to be a skirt because you were a woman, and you would be asked to leave the courtroom if you weren't dressed like that.
Wow, so it's not even just a perception thing, it was an actual thing.
Yeah, it was an actual thing. And I just think it captured almost the sexism that was still there from hundreds of years of expectation out of lawyers.
But in our lifetimes and our lifetimes.
I know.
I mean, look, mine's not particularly exciting. I'm a corporate lawyer. I was frequently the only woman in a room of like tens, dozens of people. It happened all the time. And
do you remember being the one that always made the cup of tea or took the notes or, welcomed everybody and sat down last, and if there wasn't a chair, you didn't sit at the table?
Definitely. And that, that's my thing. Now I tell anybody, any female, please don't be the one that defaults to making the tea or coffee unless it's only women in a room, which is fabulous. And then you can all fight who does it.
Yeah, I think that's such a powerful, almost subliminal signal that is not subliminal to me at all now. I really notice it. I think, so those are anecdotal, and there's probably 100 of them we could come up with.
And there's loads of stats, of course, and
but the stats,
data and things.
I think the stats are really interesting. So we talked about this. What was the statistic of women who were partners when we were quite early on in our career?
I mean, it was sub 10%, wasn't it?
I feel 8% is my memory.
Yeah.
And for me, there were no women partners in my group. There were very few associates who had children, female associates and had remained working. No. There was no one to look up to. No.
I was a bit luckier. We had a few sort of very key female role models, but generally there were not. I mean, it's not now even, but it was definitely not even.
Yeah. And I mean, again, we need to check this, but my sense is there has been progression.
Yeah.
We know that. We know that we're around the 25% mark now. Still not 50, arguably.
But it's better than 8.
It's better than 8.
In a quite short space of time.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the age of TNOC.
Yeah.
And I like to think that a network like TNOC has a very big impact on that change.
Completely. I mean, it's not the only thing; it's a part of the big jigsaw. But definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. And TNOC itself has evolved actually, which I think shows the evolution of the gender balance discussion within the city, within the workplace. So, 2008, it was a lot of women sitting around the table talking about, HR policies, maternity and all that sort of stuff, right? Now we don't talk about that at all because, we consult with and we engage with HR and management on that, but that's very much a firm-wide management piece.
Yeah.
And then we've evolved from being very internal, and we still have an internal pillar, don't we?
Yeah.
But we now have two other pillars.
It's really important.
Right? So our middle pillar is the +1. So all the events we do when we invite our clients into the building. And then we've got the collaborators one, which is collaborating more broadly with clients. So helping them set up networks, doing things with clients' networks.
Yeah.
Working with the Law Society, with other organisations.
The Law Society pledge.
Yeah, exactly. So it's much more external facing and collaborating. And that, I think, is the evolution a little bit, hopefully, of the gender balance discussion within the workplace. It's not just, doesn't just sit within HR, it's part of the infrastructure of the whole business.
I also remember in the beginning going to meetings, often the only woman in the room.
Yeah.
And at some point at the end of a pitch or the end of a discussion, a relationship meeting, the client might say, and what do you do for diversity? It was very much a footnote at the end of the meeting. Everyone in the meeting would look at each other.
Or look at the women at the table.
And then look at the women, especially one that was involved in TNOC, the Women's Network, as it was at the time. And go, well, we've got a network. Talk, Emma, talk.
Yeah.
You think, oh God, I'm slightly that token woman, but that's fine because it's an opportunity to talk about it. Now, I think it's one of the first things that it's an agenda item before you walk into the room.
Yeah.
Because clients do not want to see a non-diverse law firm. They don't want to see a pitch that's got all men or all people of the same colour. If you've got that diversity, they want to see it.
Yeah.
And accepting that
authentically,
and also accepting that some forms of diversity are not always visible. Which is a challenge I think we have. But certainly on the gender side, that has, I think, hugely shifted in the 15 years. And no longer is it a case of, oh God, let's get someone to talk about this. It's discussed before we even put the pitch document in, which I think is a really big success.
Agreed. And also that it's not just equality for equality's sake because it's the right thing or the moral thing, but it's also the business savvy thing to do. And I think people realise that there is the evidence of how important it is to have a diverse business population.
So what would you say personally was one of the most important things you got from being in the network?
Oh God, that's a really hard question. What would I say? I mean, this sounds a bit twee, but it's being part of a network, right? Speaking to and having connections with and working together with people outside of my department, more junior people, more senior people, lawyers, non-lawyers, and then all coming together to actually change something and actually have an impact. And I genuinely think that TNOC has had an impact, a positive impact. And I've actually really enjoyed the growth of the network as well. Yeah. From, it's sort of, sitting around in 2008 to the impact that we have now.
Yeah.
So, and also the ability to get into the DNA of clients as well. Like you really get to know clients, don't you? And have access to people at clients that you wouldn't otherwise.
Well, I mean, it's incredibly powerful when someone says, oh, we need to speak to such and such, the head of private equities or whatever it might be. And you say, oh, I know them because they came to our event. They were, a member of TNOC. And you go, oh, this is great. It's fantastic. Yeah, I think, I made some great friends.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We didn't know each other that well.
Not at all. And we probably wouldn't have.
No.
Because our paths thankfully don't cross because if a corporate lawyer and a litigator's paths cross, that's never a good thing.
As you say, you just get access to people that you would not have otherwise spoken to. And quite selfishly in a way, for us, I think it definitely helped boost our profile. It helped our career progression because we were almost able to cut our teeth on running something
completely
and getting that visibility
and grow those skills, right?
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly we were having to speak to senior stakeholders and with HR, and we were sort of having to have conversations about, our maternity policy, our return from work, maternity policy isn't working, or, what about parental leave, not just women taking time off, and, all of these discussions, and there have been thousands of them over 15 years about little things have meant we've just talked to different people and honed those skills.
And navigating change, actually, it's quite hard to change a big organisation, right? So actually helping to learn that skill, it's quite a unique opportunity, right?
It's been brilliant. That's why I'm so sad. I mean,
we're staying involved though.
We're staying involved, and actually, both of us now have other roles to fill. No doubt we'll use some of the skills that we've picked up.
I hope so.
and change from that perspective as well. We don't need to be involved in everything to still be passionate about the topic. I mean, I just don't think I'll ever leave it behind.
No, it's in our DNA, right?
No.
We can't help it. And we're leaving it in very capable hands as well, with Barbara Hamilton-Bruce and Andrea Tompkins.
Yeah. No, it's great. And also, it's much more international.
I was about to say exactly the same thing, yeah.
Because I remember at the beginning, it really was a sort of small group of women
in London.
Yeah. Not just lawyers, actually. No. That's what's always been interesting about it. It's always been a combination of lawyers and other people who support our business. And I think that's been quite key to its success, actually. But now I feel like we've got our chapters in various different parts of the world, in different jurisdictions. We've got a DT who is sort of overseeing all of that. I think there's a real recognition that we now need to do something to support those jurisdictions that are in a different place, different way, different point along the journey.
Different considerations, different scale.
Yeah, and that cultural sensitivity, I think, is really key. But, I mean, there's, people 10, 20 years ago would not have expected, I don't think, for us to be where we are.
No.
So I don't see why it can't be possible for Hong Kong or Germany or
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And we've seen great successes there as well. Because the other change is the fact we're not the women's network, right?
Yeah.
We're the gender network, and we have male members.
Yeah.
We want more, lots and more. And obviously men have always been invited to our events as well. But that's a key thing. So it's about gender rather than just about women.
Yeah, you can't. I've always said this. You've heard me say it so many times. You can't solve one problem, inequity, by creating another one.
Completely.
You have to do it together.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just better for everyone.
Yeah.
If we do something about parental leave and sort of any kind of macho culture disappears, and it's always bemused me why we weren't doing the same for men who want
definitely
to
making it fathers to be easier to pair for
or
them
to
be
care
parents.
for elderly pets, whatever it might be. We have to be balanced about that. Everyone benefits.
So I think we can be proud.
I hope so.
I think we can be proud, but also that it's really exciting, all the stuff that's happening, some new blood, some new opportunity for the new generation.
Yes. I mean, I think it's astonishing, actually, how proactive people are. I mean, even before they start with us, when they're pre-trainees, you get all these questions.
Oh, yeah.
And very alive to the intersectionality point.
Yeah, very much so.
They're not coming into the firm asking, I'm going to join the gender network. They might want to be part of a number of different networks. And so I think that will be a challenge, but one we should tackle.
Yeah.
We've been held to account on a number of occasions.
As we should.
Yeah. There's still a lot more to do.
And we'll continue being involved. But just Andrea and Barbara steering the ship from a UK perspective. I think we need to be careful that we step back, because it's going to be quite hard to relinquish that. Well, for me anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a favourite moment the whole time.
Oh my, there are genuinely so many. We've met amazing people, Catherine Granger, Michelle Hussein, the ITN stuff that you did for last International Women's Day. Was it last year or the year before?
Last year, during lockdown. Well,
the filming, having ITN into the offices and filming and being so open and honest on national television. I mean, that was phenomenal. What was yours? Have I just stolen your ITN?
No, I was very struck by our 10-year anniversary.
Oh, God, yeah.
When we had Victoria Coren Mitchell, who was hilarious. I will never forget the side boob comment.
No,
that was funny.
I had to explain to a senior member of the partnership what a side boob was,
Yeah, that was brilliant. Just demonstrative of her genius. But also how many clients came.
Yep.
We had so many, it was absolutely packed. And it was a really fun event. And I think just really showcased all the people that worked on TNOC events. It was fantastic. That was a real highlight for me. I can't believe that was 5 years ago.
I have to start planning the 20th.
Oh, God. No, someone else can do that.
Yeah, we can attend.
We can attend as alumni.
Yeah. Well, no, we'll still be involved. But yeah. And thank you for being my co-chair, brilliant co-chair.
No, thank you. And genuinely, you know, I will call you up and go, I'm just not sure about this. I've got the ick. Is this, I feel like this conversation wasn't right.
Yeah.
You know, should I pull this person up on this issue? Do we need to change that? You know, we had that whole debate about the dear sirs, dear madam.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that went on for far longer than I thought, but in the end,
long.
I think we got there.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't have someone to bounce those ideas off, it's a very lonely place to be. So
definitely. No, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.